The power of comedy podcasts. The latest from podnews.net with the Dr. John Deloney Show. Media and entertainment company Global has released a report on advertising within comedy podcasts. 68% of listeners prefer host reads, where it's clear that the host uses the product or service they say. On Air Fest has announced On Air LA Annex 2023. It's a 4-day festival presenting live podcasts in Santa Monica and downtown Los Angeles. Did you make it into the Podcast Movement Denver highlights video? The Pod News Puppies did, which is good news. We'll link to that today. In Australia, the IAB reports that online advertising was still growing in Q2 23, but that growth has slowed. Podcast advertising grew 24% last quarter. Online therapy provider BetterHelp was once more the #1 podcast advertiser in June, says Magellan AI, spending $9.2 million. Real estate company Zillow was the most increased advertiser, spending $1.1 million. Podbean's Norma Jean Belenky is one of the featured speakers at Radio Days Asia. Next week, the event's podcast track is called Podcast Day Asia, and it'll be co-hosted by me. The event is in Kuala Lumpur. Sounder is to join the Pre-Bid Audio Task Force. Pre-Bid is an independent organisation designed to ensure and promote fair, transparent and efficient header bidding across the industry. PodHero, a podcast app, appears to have closed. It used the Twitter API for login, which is no longer available for developers to use. The website was last live in early July. The Madness of Chartreuse is crowdfunding for a new season. The Ambies-nominated show is produced by Pack-Howl Media, an independent audio fiction production company, and distributed by Realm. And PBS Kids has announced an expanded podcast slate into the next quarter. And in podcast news, the Media Roundtable has an interview with Alan Jones, the visionary CEO and founder of Bambi, and a look back at Podcast Movement. Don't Kill the Messenger has reached its 25th episode. Over the past year, it's given listeners an insider's look at the world of movie audience research and testing. Buy Little Podcast is a new show that explores how everyday people can make the world a better place. It's hosted by Thamara Jones and Courtney Kelly, and the show aims to offer listeners an uplifting counterpoint to today's bleak news cycles. Conference Call is new today from Paradiso Media and Realm. It's a star-studded parody-scripted audio drama, and 1 Year is back with a new season and a new year, 1955, a year when a team of 12-year-old little leaguers became civil rights pioneers, weather girls took the country by storm, and a conspiracy theory about communist brainwashing infected the nation's politics. And for the first time, Slate Plus members receive exclusive access to the first 3 episodes ad-free. This podcast is sponsored by the Dr. John Deloney Show. A more peaceful life is possible. For practical advice on dealing with loneliness, anxiety, depression, relationships, and more, find the Dr. John Deloney Show wherever you get your podcasts, and we thank them for their support this month. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.